कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय कृष्ण रुक्मिणी जय सत्यभामा कृष्ण रुक्मिणी जय सत्यभामा जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय निताय गौरंग जय निताय गौरंग निताय गौरंग जय निताय गौरंग जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र शतश्री श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शील प्रभुपाद की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto number 2, chapter number 4, the process of creation, text number 7. Yatha gopayati vibhuhu yatha samyacchate punaha yam shaktim upashritya purushaktihi paraha पुमान आत्मानं क्रीडन करोति विकरोति च यथा गोपयति विभु यथा सम्यच्यते पुनः यं यं शक्तिमुपाश्रित्य पुरुष शक्ति परः पुमान् आत्मानं क्रीडयन् करोति विकरोति च यथा गोपायति विभुः यथा सम्यच्यते पुनः यां शक्तिमुपाश्रित्य पुरुष शक्ति परः पुमान् आत्मानं क्रीडयन् करोति विकरोति च यथा गोपायति विभुः यथा सम्यच्यते पुनः यां शक्तिमुपाश्रित्य पुरुष शक्ति परः पुमान् आत्मानं क्रीडयन् करोति विकरोति च
यथा गोपयति विभुर् यथा सम्यच्यते पुनः यां शक्तिमुपाश्रित्य पुरुषशक्ति परः पुमान् आत्मानं क्रीडयन् करोति विकरोति च
यथा गोपायति विभुः यथा सम्यच्यते पुनः यां शक्तिमुपाश्रित्य पुरुषशक्ति परः पुमान् आत्मानं क्रीडयन् करोति विकरोति च
यथा गोपायति विभुर् यथा सम्यच्यते पुनः यां शक्तिमुपाश्रित्य पुरुषशक्ति परः पुमान् आत्मानं क्रीडयन् करोति विकरोति च
Word to word meaning, yatha, as, gopayati, maintains, vibhuhu, the great, yatha, as, samyacchate, winds up, punaha, again, yam, as, shaktim, energies, upashritya, by employing, Purush Shaktihi, the all-powerful, Paraha, the supreme, Puman, personality of Godhead, Atmanam, plenary expansion, Kridayan, having engaged them, Kridan, as also personally being engaged, karoti, does them, vikaroti, and causes to be done, cha, and. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Kindly describe how the Supreme Lord, who is all powerful, engages His different energies and different expansions in maintaining and again winding up the phenomenal world in the sporting spirit of a player. Please repeat this translation. Kindly describe how the Supreme Lord, who is all powerful, engages His different energies and different expansions in maintaining and again winding up the phenomenal world in the sporting spirit of a player. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. In the Kathopanishad 2.2.13, the Supreme Lord is described as the chief eternal being amongst all other eternal individual beings. Nityo Nityanam, Chetanas Chetananam, and the one Supreme Lord who maintains innumerable other individual living beings. Eko bahunam yo vidadati kaman. So, all living entities, both in the conditioned state and in the liberated state, are maintained by the Almighty Supreme Lord. Such maintenance is effected by the Lord through His different expansions of self and three principal energies, namely the internal, external, and marginal energies. The living entities are His marginal energies, and some of them, in the confidence of the Lord, are entrusted with the work of creation also, as are Brahma, Marichi, etc. And the acts of creation are inspired by the Lord unto them. Tene Brahma Hrida. The external energy Maya is also impregnated with the jivas or conditioned souls. The unconditioned marginal potency acts in the spiritual kingdom, and the Lord, by His different plenary expansions, maintains them in different transcendental relations displayed in the spiritual sky. So, the one Supreme Personality of Godhead manifests Himself into many, Bahushyam, and thus all diversities are in Him. And He is in all diversities, although He is nevertheless different from all of them. That is the inconceivable mystic power of the Lord, and as such, everything is simultaneously one with and different from Him by His inconceivable potencies. Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we saw in the last verse, and in this verse also we are seeing, Parikshit Maharaj is inquiring from Shukadeva Goswami, how is it the Lord, by his different energies? In the previous verse he said, how is it by his personal energies he creates these phenomenal universes? And in this verse he is asking how the Lord by his different energies and expansions is maintaining and winding up this phenomenal world in the sporting spirit of a player. So these two queries by by Parikshit Maharaj to Shukadeva Goswami are inquiries about this world, this phenomenal world, how the Lord is creating this world, how the Lord is maintaining this world, and how is the Lord finally destroying this world. So we all know that Parikshit Maharaj was a great devotee of the Lord. Even when he was in the womb of his mother, he had darshan of the Lord. So he was not an ordinary person. He was a very, very exalted devotee. So one may ask that for such an exalted devotee, why does he want to understand about the affairs of this material world? He should be more interested in understanding the affairs of the spiritual world, which is the ultimate destination. Why is it that he wants to understand the nature of this temporary world, how it is being created, how it is being manifested, how it is being destroyed? Why does he need to understand this? So if we study both the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam, while the essence or the conclusion of both these scriptures is ultimately to surrender to the Supreme Lord and to develop attraction or love for Him, both these scriptures guide us how we have to come to that point. Both these scriptures understand that the readers or the students of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, they are on the conditioned platform. The reality is that we are all there in this material world. So while living in this material world, how do we navigate through the nature of this material world and come to that point of surrender to the Lord and developing attraction for Him? So generally people's understanding in this world, whenever they deal with material energy, is either one of sense gratification or it is one of renunciation. But Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam, they neither advocate sense gratification, neither do they advocate renunciation. There is a in this regard to understand this a little better. So a person was walking on the road and his purse fell down on the road. Then there were 3 people standing there who saw that this person's purse has fallen down. So the first person, when he was walking across the road, he saw a purse had fallen down. And like most of us would do, he opened the purse, he saw there is a lot of money. He saw that nobody is seeing him, he simply pocketed the money, the purse, and he walked away. Then another person came. He was a sannyasi. So he came, when he was walking, he saw that this purse is there. And from a distance he said, "Oh, that will have money, that is Maya, I will not touch it." And he walked away. And the third person, he came, he saw that purse, he opened that purse, he saw that there is some money. Then he again saw in that purse, there is the ID card of that person. He found the visiting card of that person's phone number is there. So he immediately called that person and said, "Hello, such and such person, I have got your purse here. So much money is there in this. With you, please come and collect it. So the same purse, same money, three people are approaching it differently. Now, out of these three, which is the most appropriate behavior? The person who is pocketing the money for his own use, or the person who is saying, this is not mine, so I will not even touch it and goes away, or the person who is seeing to whom that money belongs to and he is returning it to him? Which is the most appropriate behavior? The behavior of the third person, correct? So, this is the consciousness, or this is the understanding that the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam wants to give us. In this world, how do we deal with material objects? Most of us, when we see some nice sense objects, what do we want to do? We want to own it. We want to possess it. We want to enjoy it. Is it not? Something nice to eat, some nice thing which is very pleasing to the eyes, something which is very pleasing to the ears, we want to enjoy. We think, I am the enjoyer. Why? Because we are thinking, I am this body, and if I satisfy all my bodily needs, I will be very, very happy. I will enjoy. So this is called sense gratification. So most of us in this world, whenever we see any of these material objects, we try to see how we can use these sense objects for my enjoyment. For example, you see this beautiful sea out here. People come and say, oh, it's so nice, let me go there and enjoy. You see huge mountains in this world. You think, oh, too much of work in office, let me take a break, go to the mountains, be peaceful, and right? Whatever we see it with that vision. How I can use that for my enjoyment. Somebody sees a businessman sees a great business opportunity. He says, oh, this is a good business opportunity. I can make a lot of money out of it. Why? How I can enjoy out of it. Is it not? So all of us, what are we trying to do? We are trying to gratify our senses whenever we see some material sense object. So our relationship with material sense objects is one of how I can possess this and how I can enjoy this. But there are some intelligent class of people who are seeing that yes, these material objects are there, but whenever I try to enjoy them, ultimately it is a source of suffering. I develop attachment for them. By developing attachment, I try to satisfy my senses, but ultimately my ability to satisfy my senses is limited. And because I get attached to it, and it is not giving me the same satisfaction, or even if it is giving me satisfaction, because it is not eternal in nature, I am feeling very disgusted. So Krishna also tells this in the Bhagavad Gita, Yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukkhayonaya evate adyantavanta kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. Because the nature of sense gratification is, it has a beginning and it has an end. There is a beginning, there is an end. So therefore it is a source of misery. So some people understand, hey, all this is a source of misery. So how do they view sense objects? It is a source of misery. Let me stay away, let me stay away, let me stay away. So this is called tyaga or renunciation. So everybody in this world, they view material objects either in a spirit of bhoga or enjoyment, or they view it in a spirit of tyaga or renunciation. Even Arjuna, for that matter, he was also caught in this bhoga tyaga cycle only. First, he came for the war, he wanted to fight, he wanted the kingdom, he wanted to reinstate Yudhishthira as the king. Shri Krishna Rukmini Satyamama ki, Gaur Nitai ki, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And then, when he started seeing what is going to be the consequence of getting this kingdom ultimately, Kim no rajena govinda, kim bhogair jivitena va. he started developing renunciation. He said, I might be a beggar. Rather than being a king, I might as well be a beggar. I'll become a sannyasi, I'll become renounced. So in this world, people are either trying to enjoy the material sense objects, or out of frustration, they are simply trying to renounce. But when you renounce, then what is the activity there for you to perform? There is no activity. So Bhagavad Gita points out, and Krishna also points out to Arjuna, see, anyway you will be compelled to act, because the nature of the spirit soul is, it has to serve, it has to perform some activity or the other. For how long can you be without inactivity? So therefore, everybody is oscillating between this cycle of bhoga and tyaga. For some time a person renounces, and again he comes back to this material world in search of some activity, and he performs some philanthropic activity. So this oscillation between bhoga and tyaga is continuously going on. Somebody performs bhoga, he gets entangled more and more in this material world. Somebody performs tyaga, but he is unable to stay there on that platform, and again he comes back to this platform of bhoga. So the philosophy of the Bhagavad Gita is neither one of bhoga nor one of tyaga. It is one of seeing that how everything in this world, it belongs to Krishna, and therefore has to be used in Krishna's service. This is the principle of the Bhagavad Gita. So this philosophy is called Yukta Vairagya. Yukta Vairagya means real renunciation. So for developing this real renunciation, what is this philosophy of Yukta Vairagya that is told in the scriptures? Anasaktasya Vishayan. There are sense objects, there are many material sense objects, but what should be our approach to that? We should be anasakta. Anasakta means we should not be attached. Oh, this sense object is there, let me enjoy. We should not have that approach. Anasakta. We should be unattached. Anasaktasya Vishayan. Then what are you supposed to do with these sense objects? Yatarham upayunjataha. Yatarham means as required, you use it. Use it for whom? Use it for what? As required. Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe. You have to use it for work which is connected to Krishna. Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yukta Vairagya Muchyate. This is called Yukta Vairagya. So for developing this Yukta Vairagya, a certain background of knowledge is required. What is that knowledge? That knowledge is that everything in this world that we see belongs to Krishna. This is what Parikshit Maharaj is inquiring. How is it that Krishna, by his different energies, he is creating this world, he is maintaining this world, he is destroying this world? It is very important to understand. Is it not? If we don't know to whom a certain thing belongs, we start thinking, this is mine, let me try to enjoy. So the first step in self-realization is to understand that everything that is there, nothing belongs to me. Therefore, I don't have a right to enjoy it myself. And that is why Krishna also, in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, he is pointing out what is the nature of this material world. Bhumi, rapo, nalo, vayu, kham, mano, buddhirevacha, ahankaramiti yamme, bhinna prakritirashtada. Everything that you see in this material world, what it is nothing but my energy. There is the gross energy, there is the subtle energy, everything it is my energy only. So for a neophyte who wants to understand the nature of this material world, neophyte means a person who is just beginning his spiritual life, this understanding is very important. How everything is not my property, but it is Krishna's property. Even our attraction to somebody, a very, very powerful person, a very, very beautiful person, a very, very intelligent person, we get attracted, right, to so many people because of their abilities. That is also a material attachment. That is also samsparshaja abhoga. So therefore, Krishna again is pointing out in the Bhagavad Gita, yat yat vibhuti mat sattvam tat tat urjitam evava. Whatever vibhuti you see in this world, you see somebody is very intelligent, you see somebody is very beautiful, you see somebody is very strong, you see a very high mountain, you see a beautiful river, everything is nothing but a spark of my splendor. Krishna is pointing out why. He's training us to see how everything, every quality in a person is also coming from me only. Similarly, Krishna is pointing out that how he as Paramatma, which is again one of his energies, Paramatma is one of his expansions, plenary expansions. How as Paramatma, he is the Upadrishta and the Anumanta. He is the witnesser and the permitter. Therefore, everything that is happening to us in this world, whether good or bad, again Krishna is only facilitating. So like this, when we see that the source of every element that exists in this world is Krishna, the source of all the wonderful things that we see in this world is Krishna, that the cause of everything that is happening in this world, whether good or bad, is Krishna, then we understand that who am I to enjoy all this? Who am I to take credit for whatever is happening or not happening? Krishna is the ultimate controller. Krishna is the ultimate source. Krishna is the supreme proprietor. This understanding comes and a person slowly becomes free of his tendency for sense gratification. Because how do we try to gratify our senses? Either by enjoying a sense object or by taking credit for whatever is happening. Is it not? There are many great people, they hardly sleep. They hardly enjoy their senses, but they take great pride in doing big things. I did this, I did this, I did that. That is also one type of sense gratification. But when we understand that we are not the doer, Krishna is the doer, then we become free of that propensity of sense gratification also. So that's why Parikshit Maharaj wants to know how Krishna's different energies are acting in the creation, maintenance and destruction of this material world. So many people, they directly try to understand Krishna's Leelas. In many houses they say, every day I do puja for Krishna. For him, he is like my little child. He is like my brother. There was a famous poet in Tamil Nadu, our place. He was a atheist in the beginning, but later, he said, I became a Krishna devotee, and he wrote great songs where he's saying, Krishna is my friend, Krishna is my lover, Krishna is my son, Krishna is my so many things, all the different rasas. But if you look at his personal life, he himself in his autobiography writes, he was an alcoholic, he was a womanizer till the time he died. Why? Because for a neophyte, unless we understand Krishna's position as the supreme proprietor, the supreme sanctioner and the supreme enjoyer, one cannot be freed of the propensity for sense gratification. When one is not freed of that propensity of sense gratification and he is directly trying to understand Krishna's Leela, he views that also with the same lens of sense gratification. Krishna's Leelas are very pleasing to our ears, pleasing to our eyes, but when we look at it with an intention to again gratify our senses only, we do not get liberated. That is why in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, evam yo veti tattvataha. One has to understand Krishna in tattva. Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti. So Arjuna, if we want to move from the material platform to the spiritual platform, one has to understand Krishna in truth. Krishna in truth means one has to understand how Krishna is the source of everything, how Krishna is the cause of all causes, how Krishna's different energies are working. And this precisely is the question that Parikshit Maharaj is asking. That's why Bhagavatam is called Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam. The truth, the science of the truth of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam. So unless we understand this tattva, what will happen? Our propensity to gratify our senses will never go away. And if that propensity never goes away, what will happen? We will continue to remain in this material world. We might know everything about Krishna Leela. We can give a nice story. There are so many kathakars. Bhagavata Saptaham happens and people engross, they listen. Morning to evening this Bhagavata Saptah happens. People sit and listen. 7 days. Krishna's this Leela, that Leela, so many Leelas they listen. But after 7 days, what are they doing? Back to sense gratification. Very nicely he told Krishna Leela. So nice it was to listen. What are you doing now? I am back to office, back to sense gratification. So the same thing will happen if we are not purified of our sense gratificatory tendency. So understanding Krishna means what? Understanding Krishna means to understand Krishna as the supreme enjoyer and I am meant to facilitate Krishna's enjoyment. So this propensity to be free from sense gratification is there by Tyaga also. So people can become free from sense gratification by taking the platform of Tyaga. But because they do not understand Krishna, because they do not understand that my constitutional position is to ultimately render service to Krishna, what happens? Again they fall down to this material platform. Again they fall down to this material platform. So the proper understanding is that one has to know that everything that there is there in this material world is to be engaged in Krishna's service. This understanding one has to have. This is only called Yukta Vairagya. Yukta Vairagya means I personally don't need any of these objects for my sense gratification, but all these objects that I see here are Krishna's property and therefore have to be engaged in Krishna's service. So a devotee is able to see this because he is introduced to this knowledge. So the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam, they are giving us this information of who Krishna is, what Krishna's different energies are, and how these energies are working. And what is the effect that a person who is coming in touch with these energies also undergoes. This is what Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, they are conveying to the reader. So Krishna, he expands himself by his different energies. As Prabhupada is pointing out here, Krishna is originally there in Goloka Vrindavan. He is taking care of the maintenance of Goloka Vrindavan. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu points out how Goloka Vrindavan is maintained by Madhurya. Then Krishna is expanding himself into so many plenary expansions, the Vishnu Tattvas, and he is maintaining the Vaikuntha Lokas, the spiritual world. And how are all these Vaikuntha Lokas being maintained? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu points out by Aishwarya, by his opulences. And then Krishna is further expanding himself. And he is empowering certain jivas, as Prabhupada is pointing out here, Brahma, Marichi, Shiva, etc. And giving them responsibility for the affairs of this material world. And by that, the creation, destruction, and maintenance of this world is happening. So if this we are unable to see, how Krishna is personally involved in every aspect of the material world and spiritual world, then we will always be overcome by duality. This was also pointed out at another place in the Srimad Bhagavatam, where this is a prayer by the Prachetas, the 10 sons of Prachinabarhi. They are sent by their father to do tapasya so that they can create progeny. They come in touch with Lord Shiva. Shiva then instructs them on Rudra Gita. So they listen from Shiva and then they start performing meditation. And then the Supreme Lord gives them darshan. So when Lord Vishnu gives them darshan, there is one prayer chanted by the Prachetas, which also talks about this point. This comes in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So the Prachetas say, Shuddhaya Shantaya Namaswanishtaya Manasyapartam Vilasadvayaya Namo Jagatsthana Layodayeshu Grihita Maya Gunavigrahaya. They say, Dear Lord, we beg to offer our obeisances unto you. When the mind is fixed upon you, the world of duality, although a place for material enjoyment, appears meaningless. So they are saying, even though we are in this material world, and this material world has so much opportunity for enjoyment, when we are able to fix our mind on you, we are no longer overcome by this propensity for enjoying this world. Your transcendental form is full of transcendental bliss. We therefore offer our respects unto you. Your appearances as Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, and Lord Shiva are meant for the purpose of creating, maintaining, and annihilating this cosmic manifestation. So you see how important it is for us to see Krishna as the principal force behind everything in this world. Now we are all there in this material world. We all have to function in this material world. How can we function in this material world dealing with so many sense objects and not get entangled? It is only if we are able to fix our mind on Krishna. So unless we know that everything that we see in this world is caused by Krishna, how can you fix your mind on Krishna? Is it not? One may be doing business, one may be studying, one may be seeing the rivers, one may be seeing the oceans, one may be seeing somebody very beautiful, you may see somebody very intelligent. So you are fully surrounded by material variegatedness only. And we have to deal with this material variegatedness when we are there in this world. So when we have to deal with all these things and still not get entangled, what is the only way we can do that? Only when we see Krishna is the active force behind everything in this world. Therefore, for a devotee, he is not worried whether he is in this material world or he is in the spiritual world. Because everything that he sees, he is only seeing Krishna in everything. You are earning money, any amount of money devotee is willing to earn. Why? Ultimately, money belongs to Krishna. That money is not for devotee sense gratification, it is for Krishna's service. So for a devotee, nothing is Maya. Prabhupada, there is a nice quote of Prabhupada. I just came across that. Prabhupada says that we are actually real monists. Krishna devotees are real monists. Monists means Advaitins. Advaitins say that there is nothing in this world except Brahman. Correct? They say everything is Brahman, this world is Maya. So actually they say there is Maya and there is Brahman. But for a Krishna devotee, there is no Maya. Even this material world is Krishna only. So Prabhupada says, real monists are actually Krishna's devotees. Because even in this material world, they see only Krishna. They don't see anything else. So therefore, devotees of Krishna are always peaceful and happy, even though they are in this material world. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Sthavara deke, Jangama deke. What is that? Sthavara deke, Jangama deke, Na deke, Tara Murti, Sarvatra, Ishta Deva Spurti. Yes, sorry. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu points out that whenever a devotee sees any object, whether it is moving object or non-moving object, he doesn't look at it as a material object. In every material object, what is it that he sees? He sees his dear Lord Krishna in everything. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santas sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti yam shyama sundara machintya gunaswarupam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Santas sadaiva hridayeshu. Always a devotee is only seeing Krishna. How he is able to see Krishna? Always because this knowledge is there, which Parikshit Maharaj is inquiring. If this knowledge is not there, how can we see Krishna always? So, for a monist, for a person who is renouncing this material world, whenever he sees a material object, he is filled with fear or he is filled with hatred. Hey, what is this? But for a devotee, even when he sees material opulences, he is so overcome with jubilation. Arjuna also in the Bhagavad Gita, after Krishna is, Arjuna says, Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan, he says, after Krishna tells about everything, then he says, you please explain to me how you are expanding yourself in this material world, I want to know that. And then Krishna says how he is the energy of so many things in this material world, and after hearing that, Arjuna says, my ears are so eager to hear more about your glories in this material world. So for a devotee, even the material descriptions are a source of great pleasure. Not just the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam where Krishna's Leelas are described. No. Devotee is so much happy understanding how great my Lord is. He is giving knowledge to Brahma, and with that knowledge, Brahma is creating this wonderful world. So everything, that's all material phenomena that you are seeing in this world, for a devotee can be, Prabhupada points out, devotee means he's the greatest scientist. Because all this phenomena he sees, he's experiencing great joy because he's seeing Krishna's hand behind everything. So a devotee, he can do anything. He can be a scientist, he can be a businessman, he can be an administrator, he can be anything because he's only seeing Krishna in whatever he's doing. But to come to that state of Krishna consciousness, one has to go through this process which Parikshit Maharaj is going through, which Arjuna is going through, which is understand how the Lord is managing the affairs of this material world. That is why it is said that a person who is trying to gratify his senses, or a person who is trying to renounce this world, or a person who is trying to acquire mystic opulences, they can never be peaceful and happy. Because all of them, they are trying to change their position. Bhukti, Mukti, Siddhi, Sakala Ashant. Why they are Ashanta? Sense gratifier is telling, when I will get something to gratify my senses. Renouncer is thinking, when I can get rid of these material sense objects. The yogi is thinking, how I can get some mystic power. So everybody is trying to change their position. But Krishna's devotee, he doesn't have to change his position because he sees Krishna in everything. I am there in this material world. This is also because of Krishna. I am happy. This is sanctioned by Krishna. I am suffering. Oh, this is also sanctioned by Krishna. So this connection with Krishna itself is a great source of happiness for a devotee. That is how he is able to see Krishna in everything. So, without understanding this tattva of Krishna, it is not possible for a person to become Krishna conscious. Krishna consciousness does not mean just understanding Krishna Leela. Krishna consciousness means understanding how Krishna is the force behind everything material or spiritual. That is real Krishna consciousness. So, for neophytes, this understanding is important for us to come out of our sense gratificatory spirit. But even when a devotee becomes very advanced, like Parikshit Maharaj, for him also these descriptions are a source of great bliss. They are a source of great joy. It is not that only Rasa Leela gives bliss to advanced devotees. No, even descriptions of how Krishna is managing the affairs of this material world is a great source of bliss for the advanced devotees. Therefore, we should not think that advanced devotees means they are only talking about Krishna's intimate pastimes. No. The symptom of an advanced devotee is what? In everything he should be able to see Krishna and experience happiness out of that. And this was what, Prabhupada was doing always. Prabhupada used to go for his morning walks with his devotees on beaches. He used to walk in parks. And devotees used to say, Prabhupada would point out, look at the waves in the ocean. They don't cross beyond that line and come. Why? Because Krishna is controlling them. He used to point out to the sun rising and setting, and he used to say, under whose control is the sun's rising and setting happening at the correct time? It is happening because of Krishna. Because in everything, every material phenomena, a pure devotee, he sees only Krishna. And that is how we are also trained. We have to be trained to see Krishna in everything. So we should not be lazy in understanding how this material world is working. That's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also says. That don't be lazy in understanding the philosophy. Because when you understand the philosophy, you become more ecstatic in your love for Krishna. But if you are lazy in understanding this philosophy, what happens? We can become like the Sahajiyas. Sahajiyas means they consider Krishna to be something very cheap and easy to attain, and they try to imitate his activities. They try to imitate the activities of his confidential devotees. That should not happen. Like how the example I gave of that great poet of our state, they only try to understand the intimate pastimes of Krishna, but their propensity to be freed from sense gratification is not happening. Krishna tells us, that's why in the Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kangshati samas sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labate param. Bhakti begins only after one comes to the Brahma Bhuta platform. Brahma Bhuta means free from all propensity for sense gratification. So unless one is freed of that propensity for sense gratification, one cannot come to the platform of developing pure love for Krishna. So therefore, it is very important that we understand the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Bhagavad Gita, in the way they are supposed to be understood, in a gradual manner. Bhagavatam has got 10 topics: creation, secondary creation, maintenance, taking care of the devotees, the different manvantaras, the impetus for action. So there are 10 topics of the Bhagavatam, and it is pointed out that the 10th topic, which is about Krishna, is called the Ashrita Tattva. Ashraya Tattva, And the first 9 topics has the Ashrita Tattva. That is, all these 9 topics which the Srimad Bhagavatam is talking about, it is Ashrita, means it is secondary, or it is taking shelter of the Ashraya Tattva. Ashraya is Krishna. He is the person who is the source of all these other 9 topics. So all these 9 topics a reader has to go through to understand how Krishna is the primary force behind everything that is happening in this world, everything that is existing in this world. And by this process, one becomes qualified to develop that love for Krishna. Okay, we'll stop here. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.